Hello, it is Josh again playing the Minecraft. I think I have settled on a course of action. Notice I've ripped out all the wooden floors, so now I have this deep artificial gully. Ah, I hate that. Okay. So I'm gonna build today, if that's alright. I'm going to do this thing that I've been saying I would do. First. Oh. Okay, shoot. Good. Guess what? I now get to climb the stairs while everybody watches. Oy. Okay, so I've decided there'll be a central ramp, and it will proceed down through a number of oh, there's a word for this. Oh man, steps. Anyways, and oh wait. Not quite yet. And it will help me as a guide. And the actual, I've decided, overall shape of this thing is not that. It's not terribly complicated. Ooh, thank you. Notice I am prepared. Notice also that my gold armor is melting from my booty. Okay. This is a guide at this point. These steps will proceed. Whoops, frig! I already messed it up. Come back. Oh, thank you. Okay, 2. See this? 2, and then down another 2. And this will produce a very shallow ramp. It'll proceed all the way down, I think, to the ocean. So I have a lot of construction. It also means I may not have a whole lot to talk about. Not like the last 2 episodes where everything I could talk about was actually related to what I was doing. But instead, I have to ramble, which means I have to multitask, which means I have to suck at it. Because that's what I do with multitasking. Seriously, you should see me at work when they ask me to do more than one thing at a time. Just not pretty. I can sing my construction or hum it anyways. So, yes. Gotta love the rain. I did the math. This actually works. Hello. Hey, don't do that. Thank you for flying into my hands. I swear the lag does that sometimes. Hee-haw. Oh, I hated that show. Has anybody ever heard of that show? Hee-haw. I know very little about it because I was very young at the time it was playing, but it was often on like PBS. PBS Maine, anyways. I don't know about other PBSs. It was often on before, I think, Star Trek. So maybe it wasn't PBS. It was either that or Doctor Who. Back then when we had like 5 channels, so there were only a few things to watch, but they are also generally better things to watch. Oh, but it was a pretty horrible show, I think. It's probably good that I mostly blocked it from my memory. Otherwise, post-traumatic stress that is not something one should make fun of. Especially someone who has no idea what it's like. Okay. Which is myself I'm referring to, because I have no clue. I just sort of made sense in the context. Sound effects, because I cannot speak English right now. Oh, man. I've watched a couple of Amazon streamed movies the last couple of nights while working on trying to get this XM server up and running, which is far from complete. Thankfully, the guys who asked me to do it don't seem to be in any particular hurry, but I'm not going to assume that either. But yeah, what I watched the other night. Do you guys know what I watched the other night? Because I seem to be forgetting. Crip. Okay, well this tree's coming down anyway, so... What did I watch? Oh, man. I hope that rain is not too deafening. That's better. I want to be able to hear something of the game, but not to that extent. Let's see. It was just a night ago. Well, last night I watched Zero Dark 30 off of Amazon Prime. And it was compelling, but I still am not comfortable with that situation at all. I mean, I still have great skepticism about the events of 9/11, frankly. I realize that's not a popular sentiment, but I just look at the caliber of people who profited from that event, and it's just it's beyond coincidental for me. So I have suspicions, and there's really nothing I can do about it. So having suspicions is really all there is to it. But that's one of the reasons why I've refused, I think, to watch a lot of the movies, like Flight 93. I've refused. I will not necessarily refuse to watch the one about the firefighters who went into the towers, because it doesn't matter if the event was screwy or real, because those guys were still doing something extraordinary. So that one I don't mind watching. I just haven't gotten around to it, or maybe I have and I'm going insane. But anyways, the whole Zero Dark 30 and the team that went after Bin Laden, it's a very nice story, but it's just so strange the way they disposed of his body. Doesn't... Wow, how did I get onto this topic? I apologize. Somewhat. But I am lacking a axe. Where's my axe? Whoa. Vanishing axe trick. It's just, it bothered me. Why? At the very least, take video evidence. Don't show it to the public at large, but show it to people the public know, like, and people who have seen horrific things, like police chiefs who've had to investigate crash scenes, and fire chiefs who've had to check on the aftermath of a house burning down. You know, they've seen terrible things. They're used to it as much as anybody can or ever should get used to it. You know what I mean? And so they could take it, seeing a picture of some guy who's been shot. And their communities know and trust them. So if there was, you know, if the evidence wasn't foolproof, that, you know, it really happened, you know, if it was faked in any ways, at least one of them would have come forward and said something about it. You know what I mean? But instead, he was disposed of at sea. Before, and it just, it doesn't, It doesn't offer any opportunity to prove it. We all have to take the word for it. And while, you know, I'm definitely democratically inclined and approve of what, you know, Obama does in many ways, not everything, but more than any alternative we had been presented with at the very least, that's just creepy to me, especially after the last administration and all the screwy things and all the things that turned out to be lies and the terrible things we did based on those lies. It just creeps me out. So I had some difficulty with the movie, but I thought I'd give it a chance, and it was a good movie. I just don't necessarily take it as solid fact at this point. Well, this is gonna take longer than I thought, but hey, at least I'm rambling and actually I keep forgetting I have to go down. Accomplishing something. I apologize about all the going up and down stairs. I wouldn't have to if I knew where the hell my axe went to. It's a diamond axe. I don't want to lose it. How could I just spontaneously vanish from my inventory? I must have put it somewhere and then forgot all about it. But the thing was, I pulled it out on purpose. I wanted it specifically for this, or maybe I didn't, because I had already completed the task of yanking out all the hallway floors that I had put in. Oh, good. See, did you see that? That actually happened. That's driving me nuts. Slightly. All right. Well, what better thing can I talk about? I should talk about Sciency Stuff, because I really appreciate Sciency Stuff. I don't know that my one viewer will. I know my other viewer, who I know personally at work, appreciates Sciency Stuff, so maybe it's a safe bet. And you know what? It's impossible to please everyone. It cannot be done. Ever. When you look at some of the world's most amazing, or amazing sort of, but you know, beloved characters in history like Abraham Lincoln and Gandhi and, though, you know, Jesus and stuff like that, not to get religious about it, but you know, the most inoffensive people, well, I don't know, Abraham, he actually had to do some squirrely stuff to get slavery abolished, which worked out in the end, but he actually put himself at great risk to try to do it, and that pissed some people off. But the thing is, no matter how nice or amazing these people are, somebody decided it was worth reviling and being against. So the point being, you can't please everyone no matter how amazing you are. That's just the way it is. So there's no point trying to please everybody who might come across and view this thread. I mean, as it is, I'm not doing anything unique here. I'm just enjoying playing Minecraft, and I'm recording it because I can. And if people watch it, that's good, and if they don't, I probably won't even notice, per se. I'll notice if people start watching and commenting and stuff. But if they don't, it hasn't really changed anything for me. It's a few less computers, well, a few wasted computer cycles, all the rendering it takes to compress these videos into a format that YouTube is happy with. But, you know, that's something I can do while it can do while I sleep. Now that I'm near the top, shoot. Oh yeah, the half an hour mark would be 7:52. It's not here. It's not. Where did I put it? Did I actually lose my axe? How did that happen? I don't understand. Seriously, what the? It's not here. Where did my axe go? I mean, I have quite a few diamonds, and it wasn't enchanted, so it's not the end of the world, but that's still annoying. I don't like losing things randomly. It's like losing a game or a battle in a game because of a friggin' bug, or you lost connection or something that wasn't even your fault. You know, if I lose a game battle because I sucked at it, that's one thing. But to lose because of a glitch or a lag or something is maddening. Let's see, I'm going to draw this out a little bit. Hello. EHLO is what I'm learning. Modern is the opening greeting sequence for modern mass mail systems when they talk to each other. Or not mass mail, send mail. Mail, email, sending systems talk to each other, and they open their communications with EHLO. It used to be HELO, from what I've read, and actually still works if you do so. But the newer the EHLO says you're operating on a more modern standard, and the thing is supposed to react accordingly. Isn't that fascinating? I'm sure you're all thrilled. Alright, let's see. This might actually end up out in the ocean before I reach ground. Or sea level, that is. Ooh. I want my axe back. That stinks a monkey. Stinks a monkey. Right, so I'll just do this and I'll record and I'll put it on YouTube. And I'll make 3 whole cents in monetization. I figured actually, I realize it might seem a little grabby or greedy to monetize when nobody's looking, but it's actually well, what I don't want to do is do this for a while and get a whole bunch of subscribers, which will never happen, but if I get them. What I don't want to do is then suddenly monetize right in the middle of that because there's an opportunity and piss everyone off and they stop watching. So if they know what they're getting into from the very beginning and they are used to ignoring ads and stuff like that, or even following through on them as the ads hope they will, you know, at least it was there from the very beginning. It doesn't hurt me or anyone else if no one ever looks at this and the ads don't produce revenue for either YouTube or myself. It doesn't matter really. But I just don't like it when the terms of the game, so to speak, not the game, but the terms of service just suddenly change in the middle of the service you're providing, in this case me making videos. So there it is. The only thing that's going to change in the middle is when I finally get around to loading up a real video editor and making an intro sequence and figuring out how to, you know, beautify the videos. I used to do computer animation way back when. I'd made video clips. I mean, at the time, 30 seconds was an amazing accomplishment when you're talking 3D animated stuff. But I used to do that in college and a little bit before, actually before college. And I went there and the computer science program was super dry and they had no interest in this stuff. So I ended up moving on to English because I, you know, liked storytelling. And then later on they created a new media degree, which was sort of computer science light, which I sort of regret now, but computer science light with an artistic side. So you're talking web design and animation and stuff like that. And I destroyed the animation courses and the web design courses. But then, even though I had aced my capstone, which is sort of your final course, years before, which I realized is out of sequence, and that was their complaint, I still aced it. I destroyed that course, and it was, you know, basically sort of like a work, do a professional work for course credit. And it's your capstone, and it's supposed to finish off your thing. And they didn't, you know, I still got the GPA from it, but they decided when I was getting close to finishing that they weren't going to honor that, even though I was promised by my advisor they would. And so the effect is, oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay for an extra course and do this all over again, even though you already did it and aced it. So I was already working full-time. Perhaps I could have just said, okay, apply the fact that I'm already doing this as a career to it and whatever, but they were being very unreasonable, so I became unreasonable and I stopped going. And I definitely regret that, because I worked pretty hard for a piece of paper. And I'm certainly qualified, or have the level of qualification as that paper would have indicated. But, you know, when you're throwing around resumes and stuff, which I'm not, by the way, it's not that impressive looking to not have it. Even if one of my friends who used to work with us, actually, from college, spent some time working at an I think a newspaper or a magazine up in Maine, you know, which is where the school was. And he is saying that for a while there, the program was complete junk. It was worthless. The piece of paper they were handing out at the end was an indication of, do not hire this person, which is really bad for the person, because, you know, they might not even know how terrible the degree is. But he said they couldn't do, you know, after that 4-year degree, all this stuff, they still didn't know how to do basic things. And they're just unhireable as is. And I think the school definitely figured that out, because by the time my brother went to do it, the same thing. They were strict. They only took a handful of kids a year, and they actually had worthwhile degrees when they were done. So maybe it's just as well I don't have that particular piece of paper. I would like a particular piece of paper, but like astrophysics, that would be good. I could probably actually do that. I mean, there's a lot to learn, but I have a good background that would give me a head start, I guess, just because it's it's an enjoyable topic for me. Actually, a lot of this wall is probably going to come down, come to think of it. But I just need a guide for the moment. So here, let's proceed. Dun, 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 burr, burr. God, you know, me and my tangents, I forgot where I started. I forgot where. See, look at this. I'm already run out of wall. Oh. Well, there's a reason for this. The actual overall shape of the Citadel, or whatever it is I've decided upon. Yeah, look at that. I'm going to end up out there somewhere. Unless I just decide to cut it off. Basically, it's 8 sets, so 16 blocks per floor. Starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's a floor. Yeah, it pretty much looks like a floor. And I'm going to go down at least 4, but maybe 5. But I want to get this done. So, because at each floor, when I arrive, I should be able to walk to either side. Because, you know, there'll be like a dais or something, you know, some sort of plaza at each level that is wider than the one above it. So it'll be a sort of a, not a pyramid, because it won't be shaped in that way, but it will sort of stagger outwards or and downwards. Stagger outwards as it goes down. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. What can I do? Sciency stuff, right? Let's see what happened recently that's sciencey. Some leukemia was cured. I think it was 3 or 8 cases of a fatal form of leukemia was cured using gene therapy. This is good. This is one of the reasons why, I mean, people don't want to eat GMO food, but this is one of the areas in which actually doing gene research and genetic research has a boon. And I'm going to argue that even if 99% of the time you decide, okay, this genetic research we did, it told us this and this and this, and we will never use it, it is still amazingly valuable that it was done. You know, because you'll never be able to do it in a responsible and well-informed way if you don't understand how it works. You know what I mean? And right now we don't. Genetics is a programming language, period. We are machines. We're made of biological material. Absolutely. But the entire algorithm of evolution is programmatic. It reacts to inputs and arguments, basically, with stimuli. Did the mother of this mother bird hen, did it have a stressful life? Well, if it did, that's going to be represented in cortisol levels in its body at the time when it has a fertilized egg to lay. And that's going to transmit. That's going to transmit to the offspring through the, its process inside the egg. And that's almost certainly, I mean, there's so much research to do, but almost certainly that cortisol, the stress hormone, is telling the DNA in that new egg, you have to be a little bit more experimental this time, because the last life, the being that gave you life, didn't do as well in its environment as it's supposed to. It was freaked the heck out. And so you need to be, your rate of mutation or experimental gene flips and all that stuff. I'm using horrible terminology, but I'm just trying to tell it in a story format. It's going to be more experimental because there is a chance that the mutant, the experimental version of offspring, will be better suited to the environment than its parent was, and it will not be as stressed out. It'll be more successful, and that's basically evolution. It's selective, and it's not just accidental. It is a reactionary system. It is a program. It is software that is made of fiber and protein and all that stuff instead of silicon and copper circuits, whatever they use. You know what I mean? So we've gotten to the point. The original point is I'm almost up to the half an hour. Damn it! Look at this. I've hardly gotten anywhere. Man, that's unfortunate. I wanted to make real progress. Anyways, you know what? I'll just record an hour. It means it will be exporting the file all night long, but I just want to keep talking and keep building. Sorry. Let's see. So what am I saying? We've gotten to the point where we know how the computer that is a life form is made. We know the building blocks. But that's not the same thing as knowing how it works. Like, if you open up a computer, you can tell, depending on your level of education, you can kind of figure out what it's made of, okay? That's not so hard to do. Silicon, copper, plastic, wires, all these connective tissues in the form of wire, all that stuff. Oh, that was an accidental. But anyways, right, so bear with me as I get super distracted. I'm running low. Look at that. I'm nearly running out of island, and I've hardly gone anywhere. I'll have to start counting my floors so I know when to stop. But yeah. The hardware, I mean, there's differences in hardware from computer to computer, sure. But so much of the difference is actually software. What are the what are the instructions? And then imagine the computer that you are. Its very shape. You know, as the operating system is compiling, and you do your make, install, and your build, and to make test. You know, these are Linux / Perl terms and stuff like that. Not Perl, but close enough. Perl modules are often use these commands. You're doing all this stuff, and the result is a living creature. And living creature experiences life and has hormones that get transmitted to along with genes, and a mixture of genes at that, because there are two parents at the very least. With a combination of... Ooh, did I run out? Damn it. Okay. Of the mixed up genes, or not mixed up, mixed genes, and hormones, which those genes are almost certainly reacting to as tips. You know, it's a tip off. Wow, the life before was unusually bad. We need to adapt. And so even the same code can express itself a little bit differently, because it knows even before it's born, even before it starts dividing, basically, that it's going to be born into a situation that's going to be more hostile than it was designed for, and therefore the design should be manipulated. So it's basically, there's hardware, but there's also software involved, and we have access to the hardware now, and we've even delved in and we've gotten access to the software, but it's gibberish to us. And I'm going to say that only to a certain extent, because it's not as much gibberish as it used to be. We've gotten to the point now where, well, we've gotten to the point where we can copy the entire operating system, the compilable install file, and clone a creature. It's not 100% successful, but certainly more so than when we started. And now we're definitely to the point where, hello, allow me, thank you. Certainly where we can take bits and pieces of code, copy and paste them to some other place, or even some other operating system, aka life form, and watch what happens. And we're starting to build, as a result, we're starting to build a better idea of what the software, what the language is that the software is written in, because we know the letters, the A, C, T, and G, I think it is. We know the language. My metaphors are bad, but they're going to have to be close. They're going to have to serve us close enough for the time being. Because what I'm thinking is does that mean the pairs? Because, you know, the A's and the C's, or the A and the T's, or whatever, they connect, and the C and the G's, they connect. I'm getting these wrong, but if you know what I'm talking about, you'll at least know which ones are right, and you'll forgive me for this. But you know, does that constitute a bit, or, you know, 1 and a 0, or are we talking 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, because it's like quaternary? Probably not. It's probably 1s and 0s, but they're on-offs. So that's, you know, absolute machine language. But you then have to convert it to actual characters, which is, you know, for us would be ASCII. It's A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, all that, you know, exclamation point, comma, or, you know, even larger sets like UTF-8 that has E acute and the umlauts and Japanese characters and stuff like that in it. And even then, you don't even know the language, because, okay, you've got the characters, but do you know what the words mean? You have to actually assemble the words, and then once you have the words, you have to assemble the grammar, and then even when you know grammar, you have to then be able to pick apart, well, what is the intent behind this particular biological software statement. If, then, else. Well, okay, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense yet. So there are so many steps in really coming to understand the biological software that we are. And it will never happen if we don't actually try. So I am perfectly okay with experimental gene stuff, unlike people who freak out about it, because it's a learning thing, and we'll never, I mean, the power exists right now to do this, and the barrier of entry is now low enough. Look at this. Oh man, I may be overwhelming myself. Oh, you know what? Bear with me. Actually, I've more than made my point, right? I've overstated it. So let me cut that topic off. Call it an episode. Wait 3.5 seconds. Say hi. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you for watching. What was, I think, episode 9.